I'm Carrie Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how to increase utilization of your business systems, allowing your Business Central and NAV solutions to be a catalyst for your business growth and profitability. When we're done, I'll let you know how you can get in touch to put your goals and ideas into action and start moving your business forward. Welcome, everybody, to the podcast. And today we're welcoming Robb Delprado, who is one of our senior trainers and consultants. I've asked him to join us today to tell us about one of his favorite customer success stories. Robb, who is the customer that you were thinking about and what was their situation?
So this client goes way back, and it's something that I'll probably carry with me forever because of the simplicity of it. And again, I think that with all the features that Nav and Navision and Business Central have, sometimes the client isn't looking for something complex. They want something that they can really easily understand and make their job simpler. So this goes back to a client who is a multi-location rental company. And they did a lot of unique things, but they had this one simple process. They had, when equipment came back in from rent, they needed somebody to do some quality assurance on it to decide whether or not it could go right back out or whether it needed to be repaired. And then was it something that could be rented? And they had this gentleman out in the field, Larry, and Larry was not computer literate, but he was the guy who was responsible for doing all of this. And they needed him to update the fixed asset with those two fields, whether it was a location that was ready to rent or whether it was something that had to go in for repair. So again, he wasn't very computer literate, but they didn't want him to do anything else but update those fields. So Larry struggled with getting into Nav, and the client said, well, how are we going to get this going? And I said, well, let me think about this for a second. And I decided that the easiest way to do this was to simplify what Larry saw. So I created a new menu for Larry, and Larry only had one option on his menu, and it was called Larry's button. So all the functionality was it opened up the fixed asset list, and there were only two fields he could touch: the location code and the rental availability. And so the client was really thrilled because he couldn't do anything but update those two fields. They didn't have to worry about him updating key notes or changing descriptions or anything like that. And it was really simple for Larry to do his job. He liked it. And of course, the client was very satisfied. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, simplicity.
Absolutely. Great result. And you were able to provide the customer with what they needed with about the simplest solution possible.
There was no modification. It was just something that they were able to do. They could have done on their own. But again, showing what they could do, simplicity.
Yeah. That's very cool, Robb. So one thing that I know about you, having known you for quite a long time, is that when Business Central first came out, you weren't exactly a fan. And I know that you've turned around on that. What has made you turn around on really being a fan and an evangelist for Business Central now?
So when it first came out, I didn't like how, and again, Microsoft is learning as they go with some of these new features. Yep. And I just remember this scroll bar that just seemed to take forever. If you had a huge item list and you wanted to go over to the far right, you would scroll and scroll, and you'd have to wait for the screen to catch up. So that really didn't, sit well with me. I mean, I remember, back in the day where, it was so streamlined and everything like that. And it had been working well before they went to this new feature that I was like, I'm not so sure I'm going to like the web client. And then the other thing that I didn't like about it was they had eliminated the menus. And I've always told my clients that when I'm showing you something, I want you to understand what it can do. You don't need to know how to do it immediately, but you need to understand that there is functionality that you may use down the road. And if you can't find it, you can always give a call or send an email and we can help you find it. So when they took away the menu, this is such a feature-rich product that, and I don't use all the features all the time. And we have such a breadth of customers that do all different kinds of functionality. So when I lost the menu, it was like, well, how am I going to remember what it was that I used to tell them where to go? So I didn't like that. Now they've restored the menu, and it's easier for me to find things that I know that are in there. And that's one of the keys, is making it easy for the user to find it or making it easier for the implementer or the project manager or the trainer to find it.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite features with Business Central. And you're right, they have improved on it quite a bit since it first came out with making it faster and more flexible and actually putting more options in the hands of the end user to be able to arrange what's on their screen. So if you had Business Central at the time that you were working there with Larry, would it have been easier to make that screen customized just for him?
Oh, absolutely. Because now the user can define what they see and what they don't see. And yes, it's much easier for the user. And I keep telling the clients, I didn't like it at first, but it is so much better now.
Yeah, fantastic. One thing that I always love hearing as a theme in all of our customer success stories is that the level of experience that you have with these products really makes a difference in the kind of suggestions that you could make for our customers for improvement. What do you think it is about your experience that really makes a difference for our clients?
Well, I think having seen so many different things over the course of, I've been working with it now for 21 years, knowing what's underlying. And I'll give you another example real quick.
Yeah.
So, physical inventories are one of the most painful things that our clients do. And if you're not using warehouse functionality, and you're running multiple locations, it's difficult to get the inventory in the order in which you want your people to count. Well, knowing that if you're multi-location and you have stock keeping units, there's the shelf number field that's on the stock keeping unit. Now, the only thing that shows up on the standard physical inventory journal is the shelf number from the item card. But again, if you've got different locations, you have different shelves in different locations. So knowing that that's under there, that's a feature that how the system works. And that kind of helps you throughout the system because, again, it's the consistency of the product, whether you're working on the payable side of the world or the inventory side of the world or the fixed asset side of the world, knowing that the features are all there, it's really helpful.
Yeah. So it sounds like with just a little bit of training and maybe a little bit of process change, you're able to make somebody's physical inventory count better because you know of that feature and how it can be used. Those are
Absolutely.
those are great stories, Rob. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today. I love hearing how our consultants and our trainers can transform things for our clients. Thanks for being here, Rob.
It's always a pleasure, Carrie. Thank you.
I'm Carrie Peters. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Your New View podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure that you get notified whenever new content comes out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple Podcasts. If you are ready to rethink today for tomorrow, look for the link below and contact us to speak with our expert team. You won't find the level of no-nonsense, real-world experience we offer anywhere else, and we're here to put that experience to work for you. Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies will tap into the true power of Dynamics Business Central and NAV for your company by helping you to rethink today for tomorrow. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.